What is up, everybody, and welcome to episode 37 of the Trainer's Scoop podcast. Hope you're all having a great day. If you're watching the YouTube video, you'll see that I have a slightly different location than I typically record the podcast in. That's because I'm doing a solo episode, first and foremost. But you can see some of the background of the gym that I talked about 2 episodes ago. We have the lat pull down and the leg extension, leg curl in the background, but I won't tease you audio only people. I mean, maybe you could go check on my YouTube and subscribe, but I won't tease any of you guys any longer. Let's get into today's topic. I want to talk about 3 of the biggest mistakes I see in the gym. Now, not only do I frequently see these as I was a personal trainer for a couple years, but I also made these mistakes myself. So my goal is to make you aware of these common mistakes and then provide solutions or workarounds for you just to make sure that you can learn from my stupidity. I feel like that's what honestly got me into this whole fitness thing. So it's going to be a fun episode, a little bit of reflecting, and then hopefully some good takeaways. If you like this episode, first and foremost, let's get it out the way. If you like the episode, I really appreciate it if you shared it around to help this podcast grow. Leave me a 5-star in written review on Apple Podcasts. And then once again, if you're watching on YouTube and you like what you're seeing back here, always appreciate a like and a subscribe just so you can stay up to date and keep up with me as I do a whole bunch of different things in the life of a fitness professional. But let's get into it. Of course, I think a lot of people are going to be able to guess this first mistake, but it revolves all around nutrition. I'm going to keep it broad here because when I started out, I definitely didn't eat enough as a teenager. I lost out on a lot of those quality beginner gains that we are all able to get when you first start working out. But then later on, I went way overboard and did one of those dreamer YOLO kind of no cares in the world bulk. I was going to say an explicit term, but we'll leave this one clean. The last one, we got explicit with it. So let's get into my nutrition advice and the specific mistakes I made so you can avoid them. When I was 15, 16, 17, I started to do better with this when I was in school, in college at OSU. But the first 3 years, I will say I drastically underate for my goals, and man, it held me back. I would say I could have been smashing a lot more protein and carbs, and I definitely would have seen better gains. You know, I would do these crazy workouts where you're hitting cardio hard, you're hitting a brutal, high-intensity finisher, you know, you're training crazy hard at the local YMCA. I think everybody has been there that's passionate about lifting, but it's vitally important to fuel your body properly. And you know, back then, there were the resources that could have told me to do this, but I feel like it was kind of like a body dysmorphia and me not wanting to gain weight type of deal. So I didn't necessarily, I won't say I didn't have the information available because it was there. There's quality people back in 2012, 2013 on the internet, but I really wasn't ready to hear that. So I'll just go ahead and say I'm not a professional in terms of dealing with disordered eating, which I would say, especially toward the beginning, I did have a little bit of that going on. But if you want to talk to me about it, feel free to reach out. And we could talk about some strategies, you know, try to get you to understand that fueling your body is very essential for your workouts. And I'm not going to say you're wasting your time, but you can get a lot more out of your time in the gym if you're fueling yourself properly. So once again, making sure you're getting quality post-workout, pre-workout nutrition, keeping a good supply of protein throughout the day. I feel like in high school, this is especially kind of hard. If I were to coach a high school athlete, what I would probably tell them to do is keep a protein bar in the locker, maybe bring a protein shake for lunch, and just make sure, once again, lunch, especially in high school, is always a crapshoot. You know, you'd either eat in when you're like a underclassmen, lowerclassmen, whatever the term is, and you're having like terrible pizza or like a chicken sandwich with chocolate milk and cookies. So, I mean, I usually did pack my lunch back then, and I had a really good system going, like especially when I was 17, 18. I killed the meal prep, I'm not going to lie. That's when I started actually listening to good information out there. But, make sure you're having quality lunches, you have a couple protein-dense snacks throughout the day, and then, of course, when you're home, make sure you have that good nutrition. If you have any questions as to what good nutrition is, I don't want to get too deep into that for this episode. I emphasized carbohydrates, protein, all that. But yeah, just reach out to me and we'll figure out what works best for your situation. And that goes for anyone. So then on the reverse, I was chronically under eating when I first started out. I hit a sweet spot there for a couple years. And then I did the YOLO bulk and I got fat. I'll straight up say it. I was probably 25% body fat. I went from, it was my junior year. I cut down that summer, leanest I'd ever been, 185, probably 8%, 7% body fat, ripped. I looked good. And then I said, you know what? I'm tired of being weak. I want to get strong. I want to focus on powerlifting. I want to eat like a powerlifter. I want to enjoy myself. I want to go out. I want to, enjoy an alcoholic beverage or two with the boys. And I got fat, There was lots of dining hall eating because I had the meal plan throughout all 4 years, 7 semesters of my college career. So I was smacking the unlimited food at the Ohio State meal plan. And they had ice cream, cookies, lots of good stuff too. But you got to be mindful. It's a great tool to have when you have that meal plan in college. But you have to be mindful that you're not overdoing it on the wrong things. So I would say if you do want to bulk, take it slow. It's, a marathon, not a sprint. Of course, if you're bulking and you're in college, you want to enjoy yourself. Maybe you go out and drink some, as long as you're 21, you're drinking some adult beverages if you're of age. And then, of course, you want to go out, get the crappy food that's on campus because it tastes good, and that's what you can do when you're 20, 21, 22 years old. So I would say don't limit yourself in that regard, but figure out how many calories your maintenance is and then just add 500 calories. Make sure you're right around there on average for the week, and that'll make sure that you don't just fly off the rails like I did, because it took a lot of effort to really get back to a good body composition. I will say probably, I got 2 pretty good body compositions, where I had 4 to 6 visible abs within, following months after doing that YOLO bulk. But it wasn't until 2 years after graduation where I got really kind of ripped again, which is kind of where I'm sitting now. And so I want to talk a little bit about what I'm doing now. If you didn't already check out the video of how I lost over 20 pounds in 3 months, which was from January to April of this year, go check that out. Very good video that details some of the principles that I followed. But what I'm doing right now is just eating at maintenance. And this has been really good. Of course, toward the end of that 3 month caloric deficit where I was cutting weight, it got difficult. Yeah, I was hungry. I missed foods because, you can't have as many sweets. Of course, you can do a little bit in moderation, but you really do have to be strict if you're trying to hit your goals. And right now, I'm enjoying a variety of foods. I don't eat like I'm out of control, but, on the weekends, I can have a cheat meal with friends. We'll go out to dinner. Maybe I'll have some sweets, like some cookies. My mom made a cheesecake. I had a piece of that last weekend. I had wings last weekend. And I woke up on Monday morning, 198. Like nothing happened because my metabolism is in a great spot. So basically eating at maintenance is just factoring in your basal metabolic rate with your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, or your NEAT, and then your activity factor as well. So that can be kind of a confusing and in-depth process, once again, reach out to me. I can help if you'd like. So reach out to me if you have any questions. But I plan to be at maintenance all summer. Maybe do a slight surplus where I get from 198. I'd be cool being up to like 204 to 205 so I can continue to get stronger, add a little bit of muscle mass. But I'm really enjoying my nutrition right now. It's super simple. I eat mostly the same things. And that's a great point. A lot of people, they'll try to be what I call extra with their diet. There's nothing wrong with having variety. I think, of course, you want to enjoy foods. You want to try different things. But if you're trying to be very mindful of eating in a deficit or maintaining your physique, it definitely behooves you to eat similar things. You can have a couple different rotations through your meal options, but eating similar things will definitely help out. A lot of things to think about there. So I'll sum it up once again. When you're just starting out, a lot of people undereat. So make sure you're fueling your body properly. If you do want to go in a bulk, have a plan. Don't just eat everything, because I promise everyone has done it and everyone regrets it. I promise you that. And thirdly, find a strategy that works for you. Maintenance is going to be great for me this summer because I can enjoy myself and I don't have to worry about losing weight or gaining weight. I'm just happy where I'm at. So let's move on to the second biggest mistake that I see people making and that I've made in the past. And that is being super dogmatic about where you get your fitness information from and how you apply it into your life. What does that even mean, dogmatic? So another good word for it is zealous. What does that mean? So the thing about social media and this whole fitness thing is there's a lot of great information out there. I think we all have our sources that we lean toward. Right now, some of my favorite sources are Renaissance Periodization, Jeff Nippard, the Stronger by Science podcast with Eric Trexler, and Greg Knuckles. Also, there's tons of great people out there. Revive Stronger podcast. Tons and tons of great information out there. There's a lot of other people that do great work on YouTube. Let's think. People that I don't necessarily watch, but I do think they put out mostly good. And I'll say mostly good because I don't follow them as closely because I don't love everything they do. But let's say, for the sake of argument, people like Greg Doucette or AthleanX, Jeff Cavalier, they still put out great, for the most part, information. When you kind of latch onto a certain information disseminator in terms of fitness, you don't want to just follow what they say and stick to it 1,000%, right? Because this is a business for a lot of people. For me, it's a business. They could be trying to just get your money. Or it's also just good to have a variety of opinions. So in case that person's wrong, maybe they don't just want to get your money. But in case they're wrong about something, you have another opinion to say, hey, you know what? I actually think that isn't the best strategy. You should try to lose weight this way. You don't have to stick to a certain diet. You can be flexible with what you eat, but you just have to make sure your calories are in check. So there's a lot of different information out there. Just make sure you don't have a one-track mind. That's what it boils down to, because I've personally been burned. I talk about that every once in a while. I understand what the individual that I wouldn't even consider myself burned. I would just say I was overly dogmatic. Was that individual trying to screw people over for their money? There's been a track record of questionable decisions, but I think overall that individual wasn't malicious by any means. So you have to make sure that you're trying a lot of different things and you go to different sources. That is what's going to help you, one, not waste your money on people's diets or training programs. unjustly. Of course, if you find someone, and like Renaissance periodization, for example, they don't make any just off the wall claims, or they don't have any one diet that will change your life. It's the thing about fitness information is a lot of times people will sell the idea that this workout program is going to change and revolutionize the way that you work out. This diet is going to absolutely make you shredded in 6 weeks. It sounds great, but most of the time that stuff just doesn't work out, and you're going to be wasting your money. I wouldn't say I've wasted, but I've spent thousands of dollars where I didn't have to. So be careful with your money, be smart with the decisions that you make as you invest into those that are putting out this information. I hope that I've helped people, make sound choices. And of course, if you want to talk about this further with me, feel free to shoot me a message or even just drop comments down below. We'll get a chat going about not being dogmatic. Keep an open mind, cross-check your sources. I think that pretty much hits home on that mistake, especially a big one as social media is so prevalent. I'm going to get a drink of water. Please excuse me for 5 seconds. We're back. Mistake number 3. And once again, this kind of falls in line with making sure you're not being overly dogmatic. But I think a lot of times people do incorrect workouts for what they really want to achieve, right? Let's talk about a classic example of someone who wants to lose weight and put on a little bit of muscle, right? So what I see a lot of people doing in the gym with that goal is they're going to hit cardio for 30 to 45 minutes. They're going to do a circuit of machines, or they're going to do one of those Instagram swipe workouts for 15 minutes, and they don't see any results. Are we surprised? No. But a lot of people have misconceptions about what exercise program is actually going to be beneficial for them. Let's talk about a better way to frame those goals. So I would personally recommend, if someone's goal was to lose weight and focus on increasing their lean mass a little bit, of course, they're going to have to do a little bit of cardio, but that shouldn't be the overwhelming component of their session at the gym. What I would recommend is dial in your nutrition, get a good resistance training program that you enjoy. It doesn't have to be powerlifting. It doesn't have to be bodybuilding. It can be maybe a little circuit. It can be just basic barbell, dumbbell, machine exercises. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but just making sure you're choosing exercises that fit your goals is going to be majorly helpful as you progress towards your goal. Another thing I want to talk about, getting a little bit more in depth, is a misconception that I had up until last year, even parts of this year, I would say honestly. And that's being married to certain exercises. So once again, on Instagram, you see lots of squats. You'll see powerlifters doing the squat, bench, and deadlift. And I think those are great movements. I'm never going to say you shouldn't include a squat, bench, or deadlift, because even though I'm not focused on powerlifting right now, I still love doing those variations, and I think they contribute to my goals. But being married to a movement, so let's say you want to improve your quads and your glutes, but you just don't vibe with squats. Barbell back squats just don't feel good for you. Maybe they hurt your lower back. Maybe you haven't mastered the technique yet and it digs into your upper neck vertebrae. Or maybe every time you do it, you just don't really feel your quads and your glutes active. You feel it more in your lower back. I will say, to some extent, I've had those issues, but I always just wanted to keep pressing the squat because, I want to be a badass and I want to do what everybody on social media is doing. I want to be hitting PRs. But the fact of the matter is, If my goal were to increase my legs, get bigger glutes, be looking thick for the boys, maybe the girls too, I don't know. Are girls into that? Probably not. No, they're not. But if my goals were more hypertrophy related and I have a full gym, even the gym setup that I have right here available to me, then there might be a better option than squats. I'm going to hurt some feelings with that. Maybe some of those Instagram influencers out there aren't going to want to hear that they can't take a close-up of them doing squats and get likes. But there are other options out there. So don't feel like you have to be married to an exercise just because you see everyone online or everyone in the gym doing them. For example, I saw a great post from, maybe it wasn't a post, maybe they were talking on an Instagram Live or a podcast from Bryce Calvin, right? Someone I've had on the podcast. He's doing huge things in the hypertrophy realm of online coaching. Shout out to Bryce. He said he would rather take someone very close to failure and progress them on a leg press than a back squat because they can be safer. And overall, I would argue, this might not be his words, but the stimulus to fatigue ratio is very high on your quads and depending on how you set it up on your glutes with a leg press, maybe more so than someone might squat. Everyone's individual, keep that in mind. But it just goes to show that, people have these ideas that like, I have to squat if I'm coming to the gym. You don't. There's plenty of other options. One thing I've started to do is replace back squatting twice a week, where I'll do one close stance, heels elevated, quad focused back squat day. And then I'll use my belt squat that I made. Once again, check out that video. I'm plugging everything. It's all I can do to gain support out here. But I'll use my belt squat on another day, and that belt squat fries my lower body. Absolutely, I get great results from using the belt squat. And if you don't know what a belt squat is, basically, you don't have to load your back. You're essentially, you have weight on a belt, and you're doing squats with that. So you don't have to load your back. You don't have to worry about your back getting sore. You don't have to worry about that barbell digging into your neck. It's a great alternative. And same thing, when I get a leg press or a hack squat, I'm going to be using that too. Don't get married to exercises, guys. For example, another one, a lot of people say like, I have to bench on chest day, right? You don't have to. There's plenty of other options. You could do a cable fly. You could do a dumbbell fly. Bench is a great way to build your chest, but the anatomical action of your pecs is to abduct or bring your arm to the center, the midline of your body, right? Try that right now. Touch your pecs with your arm extended out to the side and then bring it toward the midline. You'll feel those babies activating. That's just another great example that you don't have to be married to certain exercises. I'll get off my soapbox on that one. Podcasting by yourself, it's great, but I've realized I'm sitting here looking at the clock. I've been talking straight for 24 minutes, basically. Your throat gets dry. It's a real thing. So please excuse me as I'm getting this water. We talked about exercise selection. There's two more components of what I see people doing incorrectly that revolves around exercise. And that one is training intensity. So I'm going to zone in on people that want to focus on strength and muscle building because that's most of the people that I work with personally. So intensity in this context, it doesn't mean, I'm doing P90X. It's super intense. What I'm talking about is proximity to failure. So if you're one of my clients, you know all about your RPE, your rating of perceived exertion, or you know about RIR, reps in reserve. So basically you can think of RPE as 1 to 10, 10 being I couldn't do another rep or I would have died. And then 0 RIR is very similar. Another way to phrase RIR is reps in the tank. And you don't always want to go to failure. When I started out, I thought I had to take everything to failure or I wasn't working hard enough. No. So another guest I had on the podcast a while back, Data-Driven Strength, they highlight the fact that if you're training just for strength, you could be at an RPE 5, 6, or 7 and have great strength results. And you can recover so you can approach the next session feeling great and good to go. So why would you train to RPE 9 and 10? I'm not saying you should never train, but why would you do the majority of your training at an extremely high intense level that's going to impede your recovery when you could get 99% of the results training at a lower intensity? I don't know people, but I see it all the time. So I always tried to train to failure starting out because I thought if I wasn't, then I was weak. Conversely, I think there was also a time period when I wasn't training quite hard enough. So ever since I started following Renaissance periodization, Dr. Mike Israetel does a great job of talking about proximity to failure. I think my understanding of how hard I need to train is at a best spot that it's ever been at. Once again, I'm going to plug another podcast guest that I've had, Danny Wirt. We were at the gym in Power Build Gym near Philadelphia, and he was like, I was doing leg press, and he was like, hey man, like what's your RPE? And I was like, oh, I'm at RPE 8. And he said, try this. So I was doing sets of 10 with 3 plates on each side, and it wasn't RPE 8. It was probably RPE 4 or 5. I just wasn't training hard enough. I was tricking myself into thinking I was working hard, but I wasn't. And I think that's very true for the majority of your average trainees, right? Like they'll walk away after doing 12 reps on the tricep extension when they could have got 15. So what Danny had me do is throw on 4 plates on each side. And he said, go to failure. I got you. I'll spot you. And I ended up getting like 10 reps with 90 extra pounds. I was sandbagging hard. And you can fall into that trap very easily. A good way to test it, once again, is have a spotter. Understand what your true zero RIR, 0 reps in reserve is, to the point where, maybe if you don't have a spotter, go very close to failure on something that's safe. Maybe a leg extension is safe. You're not going to have a sled come down and crush you, or you're not going to have a barbell on your back. But, train to a very high intensity, and then you'll know this is where I need to stop when I'm training. And then you can gauge it progressively throughout your training cycle. You don't always want to be training with 3 reps in reserve, 4 reps in reserve, but there's time and place for that. Same thing, you don't always want to be training where you're almost failing on every exercise, but there is a time and place for it. And then the final point, guys, is your exercise frequency. I used to be of the mindset that I had to train 7 days a week to see good results. I did that for years, and I think it was to a major fault. Once again, if you're training 7 days a week, you're probably not training at a high enough intensity, because by that 7th day, you would be feeling like, wow, I don't even want to be here. I'm so sore. I need a break. If you do train 7 days a week, check your intensity. That's going to be my biggest piece of advice. I trained 6 days a week pretty much all throughout college. And that's when my intensity was, or my perception of intensity was trash. Then I started working with a trainer in Columbus, Zach Gallman. If you need a trainer and you're in Columbus, hit up Zach Gallman on Instagram. I don't know if he's taking clients. He might be, he might not be, but he's a great trainer. Once again, he had me training 4 days a week. And some days I would go do like an arm day at our apartment gym for a 5th day, like bicep curls. push-ups, basic stuff, no squat, bench, deadlift. But I was whooped on 4 days a week because I was training hard and I saw great results in that time. My strength skyrocketed, especially if you're training for strength. You can get away with training 3, 4, maybe 5 times a week. But if you're training with strictly strength in mind, unless you're a very out of the box case, I would say you probably don't need to train 6 days a week. Definitely not 7. Take a day, relax. I promise you'll be all right. You can live with 2 days not going to the gym a week. So you have to understand that if you're training hard enough, you can focus very intentively while you're at the gym, train hard, and then take time to live your life outside of the gym. Don't let the gym take over your life because you think you have to train 7 days a week. That's all I'm going to say on that. If you want to talk more about the optimal exercise selection, exercise intensity, and exercise frequency with me, hit me up. Once again, I'm always down to help people out. You don't even have to buy a training program. I just like talking about these things because I'm lonely and I need people to talk to. No, I'm kidding. I just like to talk about them because I'm passionate about it and I think about it basically all day. So, guys, those are the 3 biggest mistakes I see and that I've made in the gym. Once again, fueling yourself properly, having an open mind about your workouts, and then making sure you have the exercise variables in check. If you have all that stuff taken care of, you are good to go. I applaud you, and unfollow me because there's nothing I can do for you. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But make sure you have those 3 things good to go, and you'll see great results. Guys, thank you so much for checking out episode 37 of the Trainer Scoop. A little bit of a quicker episode because we're going solo today. But once again, if you like the episode or if you picked something up that you might not have known in the past, I'd really appreciate it if you share this around with your friends. Leave me a review on Apple Podcasts and hit me with 5 stars. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe. Leave a comment down below about the biggest mistake you made when you were just getting going on the gym, or a mistake you think you might be making right now, and we can talk about that. Once again, guys, thank you so much. I'll check you out in episode 38.